No, we're not doing stereotypes.
We're doing stereotypes.
No, I have this one all prepped.
Nah, man, we're doing stereotypes. I'm gonna get you
don't
some gears.
have...
This is it.
I don't have anything prepped for this.
That's fine.
I like notes.
Yeah.
I'm Corinne.
I'm Colin.
And this is Blood Banter.
So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about...
Unprepared and chaotic fuck.
Because he surprised me.
You just have to say that
Not
you're
the one I
fine when
prepped
you're not
for
really
right
fine.
now,
You
but
just
anyway,
can't
so
get
we're going to talk about stereotypes. The good, the bad, and the useful stuff.
Well, I think it would be reasonable for us to start with what a stereotype is. It is... A stereotype is a oversimplified and general characterization of a group of people that is not inherently bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a stereotype is something that is characterizing a specific demographic to dumb it down a bit.
Okay.
An example. Norwegians are tall.
Yes.
Right? So that would be a stereotype. Another one would be
Blondes have the
Asians can't drive.
Oh, we're going there.
That's a stereotype.
That is a stereotype.
We're giving we're giving examples of good, bad, and ugly. Or useful. In this case. Oh shit, wrong movie.
Yeah, wrong movie.
So we gave a good, or neutral really. And then we gave bad. Now we're going to do useful.
Yeah, probably,
Bears can kill you.
Bears can kill you.
That's a decent stereotype. Right?
Yep.
Now another stereotype could be, which is useful, it is generally not a good idea to call a white person a cunt, because they'll take offense at it.
There you go. Well, actually, I would like to say it depends on the white. Depends on the
Depends on the
hemispheric
tone.
white. Yeah, it depends on the tone and the context, I would recommend.
A
Yeah.
cunt.
Yeah. And then there is, I would like to say stereotypes have a form of research bias when it comes to certain race. Because you say, like, Scandinavians tend to be tall, and then if you really hone in on the statistics on who's tall and what's not, then yeah, it's going to come back that they are actually tall, or they have blue eyes or blonde hair or whatever. But then you counteract that.
But not all Asians are shitty drivers.
No.
Right?
I think that's contextual.
Well, yeah. Maybe one person had an accident with an Asian person.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
So that's the thing about stereotypes. It is human nature to dumb things down so that we can digest it. We do that all of the time. Like...
Passing comments is like what I like to say.
Passing comments? I'm going to put a pen in mine. What are you talking about?
Passing comments is more on the, instead of having a broad explanation of what we're going to be doing, it's more on the, alright, so this is what I'm saying, this is like the hypothesis and the explanation, and then keep on going. The drive-by explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a decent way of describing it. Now, I can give an analogy for why stereotypes exist.
Yes.
You walk into a restaurant. You smell fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Imagine if you always, all the time, smelled everything, everywhere. Right? You get overstimulated.
Yeah.
So what do? What happens?
Shaking the thing. Stop it.
Sorry, I farted.
Okay, sorry.
No, really, she farted. But
sorry.
Now, what do you do instinctually? What happens when you walk into a restaurant the first 10 minutes?
Oh, look around, gauge. Price check, actually.
Do you still smell everything?
I do.
You smell everything all the time, always in the same intensity?
Nope.
Okay. Now, the reason for that is because your brain doesn't want you to fucking have a stroke. I'm joking.
First thing I see, lights.
Lights. First thing you smell is everything, and then it starts getting less and less broad, and you can really only smell a couple things because your brain can't process all of that. And in most situations, our brains do that as well.
Get your feet off. Get
on.
Get.
So the reason I'm bringing that up is because we are not good at scale categorization. We're not good at that at all.
Yeah.
Like, we can't visualize a billion.
No.
No, right? There's 8 billion people here, right? right? Well, we're approaching 9, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So there's somewhere in the ballpark between 8 and 9 billion people. It's kind of daunting.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 8 billion people, it's built out of individuals. Yeah. You and I are not the same person at all.
What?
Yep.
Says who?
Me.
No.
Yep.
According to your old workplace, I am you, but a woman. I'm a woman with your face, is what the quote was.
It's unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate. I'm not as tall. You know, if I was as tall as you, I feel like that'd be like, okay, cool.
It's not the best.
It's the lack of torso.
Cars feel worse.
That's fair. But at least I can, like, see over things.
It's not that much better.
No?
Not at all.
Reach the top shelf.
Yeah, because if you really need to see around something, just walk around it. That's how it all works anyway. I see the thing. I still have to walk around it to see it. Or to get to it, at least.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
But, yeah, so that pretty much sums up my tangent of why stereotypes exist. Because it's inherent in people that we try to make little groups for things because we can't visualize the complexity and it's infinitesimal derivations of different versions of people.
Yeah,
there
totally.
We go. I got there. I got it. I think I used the right words there to get my point across. At least.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So now that we have a really good idea of what a stereotype is, what a good example is, and a bad example, why is it a bad idea to use stereotypes in daily life?
I would like to say, like, if you have a stereotype, it kind of leads into bias and prejudices. So, prejudiced, flat.
Prejudice.
Because, say, if you go into a situation and you're basing it off, say, race or location or back history, then you kind of predetermine someone's task or usefulness in a situation where you probably shouldn't, and you should probably just go in, blanket, and then say, all right, what can you do, and then go with it.
So you're saying that your stereotype is the predecessor to prejudice?
Yes.
I think that makes sense.
No.
I'm going to use that meme.
Judas, no. Murder. Judas, no.
So I agree. But at the same time, couldn't you also say the stereotypes make it so that we can make decisions easier, though?
It does make decisions say, oh, the rain, so we're going to be wet. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Or, oh, there's a beaver, probably shouldn't be destroying a dam. Or all those situations. But having...
Yeah, because if it's a stereotype...
You a foot. You shake a leg, boy.
I do have
you
twitches.
Crazy leg. Stop it. You gotta have a trigger warning, like, hey, if you motion sickness, there you go.
You will have it now.
Shit, what was I talking about? So, stop it. You're so fidgety. You good?
I'm hurting.
Everything hurts. All right, wait, shake it out. Shake it out, boy. Shake it out. All right, so
I'm good now.
A good stereotype to walk into a situation with would be presumptually if it was a positive situation. Like, oh, this person, say, has a background in biology, then you can naturally assume, like, oh, this person can not manipulate, but produce certain stats that you can use for reports or for lab results or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that's a good stereotype.
Now, take that same example, make a bad one for him. A biologist.
You're a biologist?
Yeah.
They don't often work into teams. If you're a lab biologist, not like a team or field biologist, then if you're lab-based, then you don't often interact with a wide group of people. Like, I'm not saying everyone, but most times they are closeted, they're only like groups of small people, so they don't know how to maintain or spread out projects and work. So that's a bad one. That's bad to go into. No, but a useful one is that they can categorize and say, label and organize everything that you're producing. So for both field and lab biologists, say
they're pedantic.
Sure, I guess you already know based on their field or their history of learning and where they've come from, you already know that they can organize and then make detailed reports on the results they require.
I would say that it's a useful stereotype for a biologist would be, I think it'd be easier to say, like, okay, if you're a biologist, I think it'd be useful as a stereotype to say, well, I'll hire them on my ecological section of my business. Exactly. Because it's reasonable to assume, based upon the title that they have, that they could probably fit into that category.
Yeah.
So it's useful in the sense that they can start to categorize people before you even start to do their hiring.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why resumes are so important.
CVs.
CDs. But
CVs.
CVs. I also like CDs.
Yes.
What does CD stand for?
CD?
Yeah.
Carbon digital? I don't know. Hang on.
What does CD...
I'm sure there's...
I think it's like a CD-ROM.
CD-RAM, yeah, ROM. What does CD stand for? Besides our initials. Compact disc.
That's so simple.
I don't know.
Now, what does ROM stand for? Range of motion? Rotational oscillatory...
You think I would know this?
Motor?
Stand for?
Motor, I bet motor's in it. Memory!
Access memory.
Nope, that's RAM, not ROM.
Oh, ROM. Sorry.
ROM, yeah.
ROM.
Read only memory.
Read only.
Whoopsies. I cannot read only.
Yay.
Cool.
Cool. Anyway.
So that's what I thought CV was. Anywho. But, stereotypes don't inherently just belong to people. It can be for a thing as well. What?
Oh, curriculum vitae.
Yeah, it's Latin.
Yeah, there we go.
Nerd.
I use my CV a lot.
You do.
I have like 8 CVs ready to go, so anyway.
That's almost as many as the Band of Brothers.
There you go.
Are we talking about the CV or CDs again?
CD.
Shit.
I haven't.
I gotta go back to tutoring because I can't hear V's and D's differently sometimes.
That's fine. Actually, that's a good explanation of, say, kinesiologists or PTs in general.
Illiterate?
Not illiterate. No. I'm saying that they.
I can't read, but I can count.
They hear what they want to hear, and that is a good and a bad.
The fuck are you talking about? Can
what?
hear what you want to
They
hear.
hear what they want to hear.
Support thy argument.
Okay,
Keep going.
I don't know if I officially had a PT. You are my PT, but I don't think we've ever documented that. No.
What do you mean hear what you want to hear?
I
ain't letting it go.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Into it.
No, great, cool. Because in a lot of situations when you, as a personal trainer, and that's what PT stands for, if anyone does not know, that when you make a program or whatever, and then the person says, oh, this hurts, this is, I hate this, whatever, they're actually hurting, oh, it sucks, so let's continue and work on this one thing that this trainee hates and is not good at, let's add to it and progress it.
Yeah, if you're an asshole.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
that's a good thing because, in a good standpoint, if you build on something that your trainee is weak at, they won't be weak anymore. So they can progress and then add to it and then adapt on that. But in a bad way, that sucks because they're really bad at it and they're not enjoying it.
There's definitely a balance to be
And then
struck.
the usefulness is they will overcome their weaknesses.
I feel so attacked.
Oh.
I'm struck.
Oh, that's kind of part of it.
It is part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it.
But to be a good leader in that regard, you have to figure out how to balance out
I really gotta use my right hand. I'm so not. Like my left hand is out of frame, so I can't do this anymore. I gotta do this.
Just punch further.
Okay. Opa.
Anyway, that being said, stereotypes do fit into inanimate things as well.
Ooh, yes.
Right?
Yes. Like Fords. Let's start.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's go.
Okay, what's a stereotype?
Chevy and Fords.
Okay, let's talk about a stereotype for Ford. What do you
Ford
got?
is affordable because break. Maybe. All right. So Fords are affordable. They also break down. However, every mechanic shop will have a Ford, bin of things that they can use.
I see.
Yeah.
So, though that stereotype fits a lot of different brands.
It does. I just know Fords because it's more like readily available to me. Chevys have been in my line of sight, but Chevys I find arguably not as affordable when it comes to fixing and maintaining. Fords, they're kind of bounce offers. They're top of the line beaters, I would recommend. But Chevys, they do last long. However, when they start breaking down, it's like 20 or 30 years later and no one has anything. So
we gotta get you in more cars.
Yep.
I fundamentally disagree with you, but but it is an example of a stereotype.
Fuck GMC.
Another one would be Citroen or Renault. Some of the most comfortable driving cars ever. Mm-hmm. But they have a lot of electrical issues.
They do.
But that's not inherently true, because past 10 to 15 years they actually haven't had any of those issues. But it's an enduring stereotype of the brand. Just like apparently Fords suck. Jesus Christ.
They don't suck. It's the stereotype that they constantly break down. It's kind of like it's kind of like the stereotype of Fords is Fiat. The stereotype of Fords is they constantly break down. And then the stereotype to Chevys is they're really expensive to maintain. That's the stereotype. That's just a stereotype.
They can say that about BMW too.
Oh, BMW. Yeah. Volkswagens are stereotyped to be a beater.
And I bet you that that's not even really a useful stereotype, because all cars cost a fuckload to keep going.
They do.
Because cars inherently are negative sum investment.
I find a good stereotype is Toyota never breaks down.
Yeah.
That is a good stereotype. Not a fact. None of what we're saying about cars is factual. These are stereotypes we hear in our location.
Fiat.
I don't know.
Fuck you guys.
I've never dealt with a Fiat.
You've never dealt with Fiat?
No.
It's a little Italian.
Do I look like I
I don't think you fit into Fiat, because neither of us do. Our legs are...
I've witnessed one Fiat. It was in Italy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good Fiat.
I dated a lady who drove a Fiat 500.
Jeez.
Yeah. She did. The thing I hated about that vehicle was that it was taller than it was wide. So every turn you felt like three wheels were only on the ground at any time.
Oh, I hate that.
It was like, oh, fuck!
Yeah.
And it had all 5 gears, but the ratios were really weird. Like the first gear to the second gear felt like a really strange jump.
Okay.
Like a very small jump, actually. Like, let's say for those who don't drive manually. Huh?
This thing has 3 wheels.
I know, it's like, it just twists. It twists.
I hate
I know. And it's not even that long, so I don't know how the hell it could twist like that. But anyway, like the gear ratio from first to second was almost as though they were the same gear. And like, why have the second gear? What's the point? So you'd always just skip to third. So it must be something to do with the Italian mountains, because...
Yeah. I find when I'm slowing down, I rarely go into first. I kind of go into second, and then as it goes up, then off we go.
Yeah, because you had to skip gears in a Fiat because the ratios are so fucking close together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a semi truck.
You just don't go. You don't go down. You just do.
Yeah, which means that it's top speed, not a lot. You get to highway speed
in a 5th gear or 6th gear?
It has 5.
Okay.
That one had 5.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was on the highway 110. It was screaming for its fucking life. Oh, and it doesn't have a lot of insulation, so it's the kind of car you can hear. You can hear people having a full-on conversation, and you don't even have to roll the windows down kind of car.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
So when you're driving at full tilt on the highway, you hear the road contacting the tires. Outside and inside, you hear the wind pinging on the windows, and you hear the deer making a grunt sound next to you as you drive by.
Is this an expensive car? Or is
it is kind of expensive because they're imports. They don't have a lot of dealerships here.
No, okay,
so it's a very niche car to get, kind of like a. So funny. What are they called? You know that Soviet car?
Oh, the truck.
Nope.
I was gonna say those are.
Oh, there's a little classic Soviet sedan. What's that?
They look like they would sound like me.
Yeah. Oh my God, what is it called?
I know I can picture it, but I can't think of it.
Oh,
they're kind of square. They're cartoony looking. They're very square and very abrupt.
Look it up. Lada.
Lada.
Mm-hmm. There used to be a Lada dealership in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
That would make sense. There's a lot of hills in Cape Breton.
Lada is made for the flattest country on the planet, Russia.
I thought they were for Serbia. I thought they were Serbia.
Well,
Flat? Russia's flat?
Most.
That's kind of a good mountain range in Russia, too.
The Caucasus Mountains?
The Caucasus.
Yeah, just like one mountain
Also,
range.
That's not in Russia. I mean,
yes, it is.
Technically it's in USSR. It's in Georgia.
The Caucasus Mountains are in Russia.
Really? Shit, they're higher than I thought they were. Hang on.
They were always the fallback point when they're invaded.
Caucasus Mountains. I thought they were lower. Yeah, they're in Georgia, which isn't Russia. Not Russia.
Yes, it is.
Georgia isn't Russia. It's Balkan. It's way the fuck down here.
Georgia's a state of Russia.
Georgia is a country.
Nah.
Yeah.
Russia owns that.
Hang on.
Fact checking.
Inner Caucasus Mountains stretches between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. They're surrounded by the Caucasus region.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Urals.
Yes, that's in Russia. That's in Russia. Yeah.
I admit defeat. I'm thinking
Serbia,
of the Urals.
but that's in a state.
It occurred to me now that I have my geographic landmarks completely wrong.
Where the fuck? Because
the
that's
Caucasus
like in.
Mountains is southern to the Ural.
Yeah, because the Caucasian Mountains is like near Turkey. It is way the fuck down there near the Black Sea.
I admit defeat.
Okay.
I had the wrong mountain range.
These are the mountains.
The Ural Mountains.
They are technically in they're Eurasian.
But now I need to know, is Georgia part of Russia?
That is fact. Hang on, everyone. There's a point to this.
I would like to
Georgia's country. Anyway, still near Turkey.
There were a lot. Oh, okay, maybe.
They're very they're not Turkish. They're not Turkish. Persian a little bit. That's a whole war thing we can have an episode on. Anyway, so it's a European country that's Soviet but not Russian. Soviet, not Russian.
All right. I think I said 3 or 4 wrong things in a string there.
Georgia, a country in the intersection of Europe and Asia, so it's technically, arguably Eurasian, but it's still part of Eurovision, so I still count it. Is a former Soviet republic. Yes, that is fair. Oh, there's Civil War. Watch the movies on that. That's incredible.
Still ongoing, really.
Everything's ongoing at this point. There's like 8 wars right now that we're involved in. Anyway.
All the wars are still ongoing.
Caucasus Mountain villages and Black Sea beaches. Oh, I would love to see those.
I have heard a lot about the Georgian beaches.
Georgian beaches. That's on my bucket list, to be honest. Georgia in general. And Turkey. But anyway.
So there you go. I'm geographically retarded.
Well, no. I think you were just thinking Russia is the USSR.
I did.
But Russia is
they're
because
trying to become it again. They're on the march.
I don't have an opinion on that because I don't live there.
It's more like just a fact.
Yeah.
Putin wants that.
Putin. What's the... Oh, no, sorry. Aragon is a kingdom in Spain. Never mind. I was just like, why the fuck is that?
Catherine of Aragon.
Catherine of Aragon. My favorite queen of that era.
Speaking of stereotypes, all Russians are bad.
Which we know is
That's
not.
not true.
And apparently all post-Soviet countries are still Soviet. They do have...
I ran into that. That was a stereotype that I was going in with.
That's whatever. They still have like Soviet materials, and obviously they still capitalize on a lot of the Soviet.
Ukraine had a lot of Soviet stuff still for the longest time.
And apparently they are in kind of a... You know how Gujarat is technically... the state of Gujarat is both in India and Bangladesh?
I do now.
By the way, there's a Gujarat in Bangladesh and Gujarat in India.
That sounds like a sneeze.
It's not. It's very... arguably a very lovely state. I don't know. I just heard stereotypes of it from my classmates. But
there's also
kind of like this
Kashmir.
split. Kashmir.
Kashmir used to be part of Pakistan and India.
There you go. What's it called? That weight sport that is Persian, but like 3 countries fight over the origin.
The weight sport?
The weight sport. It has cool...
like the cudgel?
Yeah.
Like a hammer they're swinging around themselves?
Yeah, they have like 2, and it's a both martial art, a dance form, and a music type. Very nice. Google is saying swinging Persian meals, which is pretty snazzy. It's all over my feeds right now.
You're just digging into meals?
Just digging into meals, which is fantastic. And I love the fact that, no, I don't love, but it's very interesting the fact that there's old ethnic and cultural groups that were split over time that now when you're in modern age, everyone's trying to like, oh, this is where it's come from, this is what's connected to it, blah, 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 blah. But because of all the shifting borders, there's so many things that get cross over borders, and it's like, well, this was of the kingdom of this, but now it's like 7 different countries. So...
Oh, how the times change with war and love.
War and peace? Who said that? Anyway.
Who's Warren?
Anyway, good book also about Russia. There's Russia. Russia is everywhere. I love it.
I think that we should tie this all together with a nice little closing remark. Are stereotypes necessary for our day-to-day? Necessary?
Not really. Does it help move a conversation and groups? Yes.
Support.
Oh, support that?
Yeah.
You can go in with no biased opinion, no background knowledge or anything, and then you can just get to know the individual or the object that you're working with just straight on for the first time. But having some predetermined prejudice or bias towards a certain thing could benefit you. Does not work all the time because, of course, we all, as human beings, unfortunately, based on cultural background or how we're upbringing, it kind of becomes a negative, especially if you have past handlings of situations. But in some other times, it's useful. Saying if you're in a situation where your background on education, your culture, or your habits could benefit you. So,
I think that stereotypes inherently are moderately beneficial, moderately useful.
Okay.
Because, for example, I have chosen whiskey as part of my evening drink.
Nice.
This evening.
Mm-hmm.
I had a prejudice to make that decision. I prejudged the thing that I'm going to have right now based upon the things that I've experienced before.
Ah.
I have previously enjoyed whiskey. So I prejudged this moment that I would also enjoy a whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I have also had shitty whiskeys. It has not been a 100% success rate. Prejudice is...
Judas. No. Sorry.
I'm going to put the meme in there. It makes it so that we can make immediate decisions quickly, which is usually the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see somebody coming over with a knife and he has a really fucked up, terrible look on his face, it's reasonable to prejudge that the situation is not good. So that's not a stereotype, but where stereotypes can really throw our prejudice around for good, bad, useful, whatever it turns out to be, it's not inherently a bad or a good thing, but it makes it muddy, right?
Yeah.
You hear a whole bunch of stereotypical statements about a Ford vehicle. They don't last 10 years. So then you have an option of either listening to that stereotype, never getting in a Ford, or if you say, okay, well, that's what people are saying, I'm going to go investigate now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually a really healthy practice. Because if you can take the opinions of others, do your own development of your own thoughts and opinions on things, that actually makes you more intelligent in a lot of different ways. Right?
Yeah. Wisdom is key.
Yeah, because if we are just sheep in the flock, then what the hell's the point to everything?
There you go.
Right?
Individuality. Catch us next time on that episode.
To be an individual.
To be an individual. Write that down, folks. And
That's it.
Watch part 2 of this episode because we have more to say about this.
We do. Now, to tie it all together,
I tried.
Stereotypes, kind of neutral. They're only good or bad if you end up using it to sway your own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, develop your own sense of identity, you bunch of sheep.
Let's go.
I'm Cohen.
I'm Corinne.
We're Blood Banter.
Bye.